Hi. Um, Today we're gonna do something a little different, which is kind of what I say in every single video, but that's because I love variety. So, my one genuine issue with the South. I live in Tennessee. I spend, I grew up half in this town, like in Memphis, and then the other half kind of out in the boonies in like middle Tennessee, kind of a couple hours east of Nashville and stuff. So my big issue with the South is how embedded racism is into like everyday life. Um it's a really big problem. Part of this I am thinking about is because I went to like a public town, the town square in the town over from mine. And in the square there, they had, you know how you can go places and they have those like historical plaques? Well, at least in this town, people could donate to have them put up these plaques. So in this town square, my friend and I, we were laughing at them because they were so skewed. And the plaques were donated, the people who donated for those plaques, there was about 2 or 3 of them. They were donated for by the Confederate Sons of America Foundation, something like that. It was like a collection of people who just couldn't admit that they lost the damn Civil War. And those plaques, they were just trying to make it out like they did something, that they did something in the Civil War. And that's, I really hate to like, I don't know, I don't even hate to say this. You didn't win the Civil War. I'm glad we didn't win the Civil War. Why are we still racist? And I think a lot of it just goes back to the fact that we were like built on these foundations and that they're not really leaving. I can confidently say that the best part about Tennessee, besides like the beautiful land, is Memphis, because that's where all the life is. And you know why we have life there? Did anyone want to take a wild guess? Why we have the best barbecue, the best food? I'm pretty sure it's because of black people. I don't think white people did any of that. I mean, like, you could help, I guess, but it's just so frustrating seeing like these communities that are pretty much still just all white, because nobody, like, it's segregation was ended a while ago, but a lot of these areas haven't been integrated yet just because of stereotypes. Not even stereotypes, just like, I forget what the word is. There's a lot of words for it, but it really fucking sucks, because I feel unsafe like going into the Collierville Town Square. If I was alone, I wouldn't have wanted to go. It You don't feel safe in these areas unless you're like a straight cis male, and I don't really fall in that category. I'm queer. It's very obvious I'm queer, and it's not something I've ever really. I mean, I did try to hide it, but it didn't work very well. So just like being anywhere in Tennessee that isn't the Cooper Young district of Memphis is kind of scary for me, just because people aren't really, they're not really welcoming or accepting. And you know, at best they'll kind of just ignore you, and at worst, you don't even want to know what the worst is, because if your best is just being ignored, it's not really a functioning member of society. I tried to go into the sewing shop earlier because I was looking for like metal studs to put on my battle jacket. And I like walked in, this woman, she like very aggressively, like an old one, she like came up to me, she was like, "Can I help you? Can I help you? Like, are you looking for anything?" I was like, "Do you have metal studs?" And she's like, no, we don't really carry those. And then I just like walked out. I just like left and walked out. And people, you can say like, oh, maybe she just wasn't sociable that day. You could have read the signs wrong. They don't really, people don't really like giving business to queer people. It's not really a thing down here. There's still very much like you can file discrimination lawsuits, but they're not gonna win. Nobody, your freedom of self-expression is not something that people feel good about, upholding here. And so my big issue with the South is the fact that we are still so stuck in the fucking past. And I mean, honestly, that's probably because of our education systems. Like, point blank, that's one of the big reasons. Like, we ranked dead last in education among like all the southern states. We all rank pretty low for like a damn good reason. It's because we don't have good education. But it's still a struggle. I remember telling my friends, my northern friends, I was like, yeah, they couldn't even tell us that Reaganomics didn't work. I remember being in AP US history, and my teacher sat us down and she was like, I cannot tell you that this worked or that it didn't work. I can only tell you that this was like the system they designed. They thought that trickle-down economics would work, and they designed it, or whatever they came up with it, and they were like, oh, this'll, trickle down the wealth. She was like, I cannot tell you if it worked or not. And that's just my big problem. It's just anti-intellectualism. School's not something that I enjoy because the people don't treat it like you're supposed to be looking for knowledge and supposed to be educating yourself. It's like a series of checklists and steps. Like, you should go to school and you should know how to do these 4 things, but you can't do anything else. The second you show interest in a topic, or the second that you want to explore something further, it's yanked from your grip, and they don't care. And that's my issue. That's my issue with the South. It's the lack of education and just of letting people thrive and move forward with their life. Everyone's very stuck in the past, and 10 years ago, and 10, 50, 100 years ago. The Civil War has been over for, it was 5 years. Not even 5, it was like 4 years, something. I don't fucking remember. I don't even care. Like, I just remember that it was so inconsequential in, like, the grand scheme of the world, and then everyone else is just so able to move past. Like, all these other countries are so able to move past, like, these wars that they have. And England's been in, like, I'm talking about, like, European countries, they've been in, like, hundreds of wars. That's an exaggeration, but they've been around much longer, and they've done these before. And then the second we have one civil war, it's people are still stuck in 1847. Is that when it was? I don't care. People are still stuck back then, and it's frustrating. I'm tired of teachers not being able to actually teach things, and I'm tired of, like, being passionate about something and then not being able to explore that in school because they just don't let you. They just don't want you to. Like, everything they teach us is so fundamentally, like, either baby steps or just wrong. Like, half my biology course, just wrong. Like, it hasn't been updated since, like, 2008. It's wrong. I don't care how many new textbooks you buy. These, like, they'd say the textbooks are new, but they're not updating the information in the textbooks. Like, that's not the commonly accepted scientific opinions anymore. It's just frustrating because I want to learn, but nobody else wants you to down here. It frustrates me. It really does. That's my problem with the South. The racism and the fact that I want to learn and nobody else wants to. This is kind of ranty. I genuinely do think that, like, libraries, being in and out of libraries as a kid was kind of what saved me, because you have what you're being taught in school, but a lot of the learning I do on my own, like reading theory, reading science textbooks. I think discouraging anyone from, like, learning is horrible. So it definitely isn't, like, a perfect system, and it never will be. It's kind of like a weird thing there's not really, like, a positive spin I can put on this. I'm kind of just stating, like, this is what's happening in the South, is, like, how I grew up. And I really wish it wasn't like that. I wish I could be taught things. And I wish the schools weren't censored as much as they are. I wish they weren't censored at all. I think when they're trying to censor things to any certain viewpoint, it's preventing you from realizing the actual and getting to know the actual knowledge and content. So, I hope everyone has a good night and pick out a book to read. Just read something fun. I don't know. I like reading. I continue book recommendations. I love books. I love books so much. They're so awesome sauce. So yeah, just have a good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And I love all of you. Read something. Have a good night. And try to get your state's education up higher than Tennessee's. It's a good idea.